It's been called the angry summer, and more than 200 weather records have reportedly been broken during Australia's most recent hot season. That's according to a government-linked climate group. It says Australia is experiencing unprecedented extreme heat and setting new records at an alarming rate. The Angry Summer report details how the hottest on record for Sydney and Brisbane and Canberra. It also pointed out how one town in New South Wales experienced 54 consecutive days above 35 degrees Celsius. Further south, South Australia's capital city, Adelaide, endured its hottest Christmas day in 70 years. For more on this, we're joined by the author of the report, Will Steffen. Thank you for joining us. So 205 weather records have been broken. Does this show, do you think, that climate change in Australia, at least, is a huge problem?
Yes, it certainly does, because what we find is when we do analysis of the probability of these sort of events, these sort of extreme heat and extreme rainfall in the West, how likely would they be without climate change? And we find that climate change makes them 50 times more likely. So there's little doubt in our mind that the increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are driving this extreme heat and the bushfires that go along with it.
We've seen those reports on the bushfires. Now, is it affecting Australians more than other countries in the southern hemisphere in that end of the world? Or do you think that this is something that will be seen throughout?
I think it's something that is widespread. It's global. It will be seen in other countries around the world. But I think that we are prone anyway to extremely hot weathers. Our vegetation makes us prone to bushfires anyway. So climate change is exacerbating these types of extreme events that we've seen before. It's making them much worse, much more intense, and much more difficult to deal with.
We quote often, don't we, that the majority of scientists believe in climate change, and yet there are still people who are unconvinced, probably also even in Australia, despite all this extreme weather. What do you say to people who still don't believe that these two things are combined in terms of how we live our lives and increased climate change?
Well, I have a very simple answer to that question. And one is, it is not a matter of belief. It's not what you believe. Everyone's entitled to their beliefs, but not everyone is entitled to the facts. And I think we have to rely on the scientific evidence that there is a strong link between climate change and worsening extreme weather. And that is the fact whether you believe in climate change or not.
Will Steffen, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Canberra.